Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 2 of How Do You Like Your Coffee with Connor and Kai. I am Kyler Akechi. Some people call me KY, the science guy. That's not true. Nobody calls me that.
I'll call you that.
Okay.
For the sake of the episode.
I appreciate that.
And I'm Connor. I'll be your music guru for episode 2.
Awesome.
Glad to be here. Want to give a quick shout out to everyone that saw episode 1.
Yes.
All the friends who gave us feedback from episode 1 has been truly beneficial.
So beneficial. We were expecting some negative reviews or people to kind of like, oh, we didn't like this, oh, we didn't like that. But honestly, we only got pretty positive feedback from everybody, and that's awesome. I mean, we're really happy that everybody enjoyed the first episode. Here first that we're trying our best to make it better every single time we make an episode. And
absolutely, I think the fans can actually see one improvement, Kyler, that would be this bad boy right here.
Yes,
we got a mic.
Pretty, it's gorgeous.
It's
beautiful. It lights up. We can do we can't really do much with it, but I mean, it does light up.
It listens to our voices, and that's all we really want it to do.
Absolutely. Well, but we just wanted to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who reached out and who also saw the first episode. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and to all the friends who shared it on your social media, that was above and beyond. We didn't ask anybody to do that, but you did it.
Yes, and keep doing that. Keep doing it. We want to do some awesome stuff for you guys. We want to do giveaways in the future and things like that. I mean, we don't have anything lined up yet, but we need views to get that stuff going. So, keep doing it.
Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, all that good stuff.
So let's go ahead and start our segment. So we're going to start our segment with putting a pin in it, as usual. For those just tuning in, at the beginning of every episode, we're going to go ahead and do a drink review of something that we find. Connor, why don't you go ahead and tell the people what we have today?
No, absolutely. So the drink we'll be reviewing today, we'll be putting a pin in it, is something called an affogato, which is just a fancy way of saying...
that's a French-ass name.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's espresso and ice cream. It's two things I love. I love espresso. I love ice cream.
Yeah. We wanted to keep it simple, but at the same time sophisticated. And we feel like this is something not a lot of people may have tried. And it's something everybody can do at home. So we wanted to go ahead and do that.
So let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So what we have is a little bit of espresso, a little bit of vanilla or vanilla bean ice cream. And you just take the espresso and pour it in like so.
Anybody can do it. It's pretty simple.
Well, unless
you don't have hands.
But, I'm sure we can get somebody over there to help you out.
Yep.
So, let's go ahead and do it.
Let's give it a try. Cheers. Cheers.
Ding.
Oh, that goes down smooth.
Oh, it's nice.
It's very nice.
I'm not really of an iced coffee person. I usually like my coffee warm, but if you don't mix it, you kind of get a little bit of warm, a little bit of cold. It's nice. It's kind of nice. Soothing.
Super soothing.
I think now's a great time, Connor, to ask, how do you like your coffee?
Kyler? I absolutely love it.
Wow.
I absolutely love it.
You heard it here first. Affagato.
Sounds like avocado.
Yeah, but it's not. So don't look up that one. Nope. You'll get a smoothie and it's green, and I don't know, unless you're into that.
Unless you're into that kind of stuff, which I'm not.
Well, I'm glad we put a pin in that. So let's go ahead and get started on our music reviews, or
all right,
album reviews, I should say.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and start it off for us.
So our first episode, we did an album review of Fiona Apple. We did one album.
Yes.
This episode, we're tripling it. We're going to do 3 albums for them. Awesome. 3 albums for the fans. We'll start off with Green Day. You know them. You love them.
Do we, though?
Nope.
It's Green Day, people. A lot of people back in the day, I'm older now. I could say that back in the day. Green Day is something special. They're a bit of a headbanger if you haven't heard of them, which I doubt. But if you haven't, listen to them. This album came out February 7th. Yep. What's it called?
Again? It is called Father of All Mother Effers.
That's right.
Going to keep it PG for the kids.
Absolutely. So we're going to refer to it as Father of All.
Yep, Father of All. Came out early 2020.
Early 2020.
It is their first music release in the past 4 years.
4 years, something like that. Yeah, 4 or 5.
Keeping people on the edge of their seat.
But let's be real, right? Green Day is Green Day. And you're going to basically get what you think you're getting every time.
Yep.
I bet you wouldn't believe this, Connor. How old do you think Green Day is?
I'm going mid-30s, Kyler, mid-30s.
You're going to get your mind blown, people. 43 years old, every single one of them. It's like they all had the same birthday or something. I don't even understand.
All members of the band are 43?
All members of the band are 43.
Yikes.
And
talk about a midlife crisis releasing a new album.
And what's funny about it, though, is like the names for all of them are related to, younger days. For example, one of the songs on it was called "When I Was a Teenager."
Yep.
Which I would like to add, who isn't a teenager? Because of if you're a teenager, you're
a teenager, right? If you're teenager.
Yeah. So what'd you think about it?
You know, like you mentioned earlier, you heard one Green Day song, you've heard them all. So this album is pretty, you know, it's there's no suspense. You know what you're going to get when you listen to it.
Yep.
And that's a little bit of punk and rockabilly type music.
Yeah. It's a headbanger for sure. I will give them that. They definitely keep the energy for 43.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you are 43 watching this, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what we're getting at. We're just getting at you maybe should retire.
Absolutely.
As a rock star, and at least.
It's funny because they're making a song called I'm a Teenager at the age of 43 when you should be making music about trying to get a mortgage, trying to figure out the rest of your life and where you're going to retire at.
File your taxes.
Well, you should do that when you're 18. But yeah, also that.
Yes. So the only two songs from Green Day that I really know are When September Ends, which everybody sings every September. And I don't know why everyone wants September to end, but they do.
They do.
And the second one is American Idiot. It goes a little something like, and yeah, that's pretty much all of Green Day.
I felt like an idiot listening to it.
So. If you're into Green Day, that's awesome. That we're not bagging on you. That's not what we're trying to get at. We're just saying that that's not our cup of tea, or should I say, mug of coffee.
Cup of affogato.
Yeah, a cup of avocado,
if you will.
Avocado, yeah, if you will.
But yeah, Green Day. I mean, they're an iconic band. You know, they made a name for themselves. Everybody knows them. You know, and they are what they are. And hopefully this is the last album they release.
But nonetheless, if you haven't heard it, you guys should go and reach out and listen to the new album. Came out February 7th. Mm-hmm. Again, called Father of All. Yep. Yeah, and it could be good, could be bad. We'd love to hear your feedback on it and see what you guys think.
And so the second album Kyler and I will be reviewing today is called Invisible People, newly released last week by the band Chicana Batman. I'm actually sporting the shirt I wore.
Are you a fanatic?
I'm not a fanatic. I am a fan.
Nope.
Groupie? Nope, not a groupie.
All right, not a groupie or a fanatic.
But a fan, to say the least. I've seen him a few times live. The first time would be 3 years ago at the iconic venue, the Fillmore in San Francisco.
Awesome.
That's where I got this shirt.
That's a big place, right?
It's a big place, big in music. Bill Graham, you know, the father of rock music promotion. Absolutely.
Awesome. Better than Green Day, probably.
I absolutely agree.
So prior to today, I hadn't heard of Chicana Batman. Connor had brought it up and said he wanted to do a review on it, and I said, why not? And honestly, my first take on it from never hearing them before, I thought of it as like an indie Kid Cudi. I personally like Kid Cudi. I like indie. Yep. I would mix them two together now after hearing Chicana Batman.
Yeah, no, they're a great band.
What's one of the songs they have for you?
On this new album?
Yeah, what's one of the ones that you like the most?
The one I like the most is Pink Elephant. It's the single they released before the album dropped. It's a great song. You know, the whole album itself kind of follows the same pattern as that song, and it's, you know, funky, it's groovy. It's got a dope bass line and some beautiful funky guitar for all those fans. You know, they mix R&B and modern contemporary rock really well.
Nice.
You know, they do it right.
Awesome.
They do it right.
The punch of that song, I feel like, is something that I could really, you know, sit and listen to anywhere. If you heard the first episode, we discussed Fiona Apple, and we kind of said it was like a crying in your bed type of album. This is not a crying in your bed type of album. This is something you could really just vibe to whenever you're going anywhere. And I personally, I liked it. You know, I'm a Chicano Batman fan now.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, you know, if I had to listen to the Green Day album or Chicana Batman album, it would be Chicana Batman, to say the least.
I think if you heard them side by side, you would tell the difference.
Yeah, there's a pretty big difference.
Third album we have for everybody is Mac Miller.
Yep.
Go ahead and.
So, Mac Miller, we all know who he is. He unfortunately passed away in 2018.
Something like that,
yeah. At the age of 26, an absolute hit to the music industry.
But they just put Kids on Spotify. And Kids, what does Kids stand for again?
It stands for Kickin' Incredibly Dope Shit.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I had no idea before I looked that up. I was listening to this album. I've heard the album many times without even realizing it because I just type in Mac Miller Radio on my Spotify, and I love every single song that comes on and comes to be.
Yeah, Mac Miller. Every song he has. I mean, it's just iconic.
Yeah,
they could all be considered singles.
this was more, not so much of a review, because I feel like we don't even need to review it. It's more of just giving a tribute, and I personally am stoked on the fact, super excited for him, for the fact that his family and people in charge of his music now are still putting music out and making it awesome. And I love the album Circles. Everybody does, right?
Oh, gorgeous album.
Woo, yeah. Let me tell you.
Tell me.
But nonetheless, it's awesome. So if you haven't listened to it yet, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, go on there and do it.
Yeah, the reason they actually released this was it was the 10-year anniversary on April 29th of this mixtape, which he actually released when he was around 17, 18 years old, which is incredible. I mean, being
the
17,
album cover has him pretty young.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah,
just like the album,
Kids with a Z.
And there's multiple kids on that album cover, so it fits the bill. But yeah, just want to pay tribute to Mac Miller, and big ups to his family and the managers involved for making this available to stream, because at first it really wasn't. You can find it on YouTube and stuff like that, but it's available on Spotify now, the full mixtape, except for 2 songs. Actually, they kept 2 songs off of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one is La La, and the other one is Traffic.
What's your favorite Mac Miller song?
My favorite Mac Miller song, or my favorite song off the album?
Mac Miller song. You mentioned before Nike's on My Feet, and
yeah, Nike's on My Feet is off this mixtape, but I mean Senior Skip Day, which is also on this album, is just, I mean, that is a summer song right there. I mean, that is just the definition of kick back and chilling.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I cried when I heard Circles, and I love every Mac Miller song that came out. I was trying to figure out who he sounded like, and I literally couldn't think of anything, and I think that's what makes Mac Miller so great. Is that he's unique in his own sense, or was in his own sense, and it sucks that he's gone, but nonetheless, he's still getting music out there for people to listen to. So that's awesome.
Yeah, he was actually the first celebrity death that actually like made me feel something. Like it was rough. That was a hard loss for the music scene.
Yeah. Another thing that we kind of want to discuss a little bit is how incredible a tiny desk can make an artist sound.
Woo, buddy.
I recently just heard the song About You by Chica, was Chika. She's going to be awesome. She's going to be so great. I mean, shit. Snoop Dogg follows her Instagram.
Yeah, and she's going to take the scene by storm, no doubt.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So if you haven't heard it, Chica on Tiny Desk. I don't know what it is about the damn desk. It's like, it just makes everybody sound better.
Yeah, man. It's the ambiance. I mean, it's the ambiance of being in such a simple setting, yet these incredible performers are bringing their best of the best. I mean, they usually on the NPR Tiny Desk, they perform 3 to 4 songs. Yeah, and those songs, man, they hit.
You've heard a lot of Tiny Desk before.
That is like the one YouTube channel I actually follow, other than How Do You Like Your Coffee? Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, do it.
But no, I do. I follow the NPR Tiny Desk YouTube channel, and I mean they're posting stuff every week. I don't know about now, actually, to be completely honest, with everything going on with the coronavirus, but they normally put out a new segment every week with a new artist from any genre. And that's the great thing about the Tiny Desk concerts, is that they bring in country, they bring in old school R&B, they bring in new age rap. And Mac Miller, he was on the Tiny Desk.
Dude, that was a great episode of Tiny Desk. I watched that over and over again. And what it is about it is that when they're on Tiny Desk, it's raw. It's kind of like Broadway, right? People say actors and actresses. It's so much harder to do Broadway than it is real TV, because they do cuts and things like that. Broadway's raw, and that's exactly how I feel when I watch Tiny Desk. Chica, hell of a job. Pumped about it. I've listened to the song About You multiple times, and I love it every single time. And it's awesome. You're real. If you're listening to this, which I hope one day you are, because that would be incredibly incredible.
Absolutely. We should try and get her on the show sometime.
That would be
episode 3.
We could do a tiny apartment as one of our segments.
Well, there may be some copyright issues there, but yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of online performances, however, would be Travis Scott did something pretty huge the past month online. If you've heard of Fortnite.
Yeah. Do you play Fortnite?
I do not play Fortnite. It is not my cup of tea. I play Warzone.
So how'd they get the performance on the Fortnite?
So Fortnite has done something new. If you're not familiar with the game, it's a battle royale. It's last man standing. There's this big it means an open world, and you try and kill all the other gamers that are on the server. But what Fortnite has done is they created an island that is no guns, so no one's trying to be the last man standing. Everyone's alive and standing, but it's more of like a second life, a social media platform. This new island that they created, and Travis Scott and Epic Games, the game company that owns Fortnite, did a live performance called Astronomical, based off of Travis Scott's album from a couple years ago, Astro World. And you could tune in and you could watch the performance live on this games island that they created.
I think it's more than just a game, though. I think it's kind of the sense of like, this is what we are now at in life.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And it's online performances are going to become a lot bigger in the next year. I mean, they're already pretty big with the way the internet has been going, but with everything going on currently in the country and the world, is online music or live performances online are going to become a staple in the music industry. Definitely. And this Travis Scott performance was a huge deal because it drew almost 30 million people.
That's crazy.
That's 30 million 12-year-old Fortnite players.
Unless you're not 12-year-olds.
Unless you're not 12.
But I mean, nonetheless.
No shame. Do what you got to do.
So do you know of any other places that are kind of trying to get everything up and going in terms of like music and things like that? I know you mentioned BandCamp, right?
Yeah, BandCamp, a very popular app for finding concerts for artists you like near you. Okay. So what you do is, you download the app BandCamp, and it asks you to pull your Spotify data. Yes. And
one segment this is different than like American Pie BandCamp, right?
That's so a good point.
When he brought it up to me, I was like, "Hey, buddy, you better calm down."
This is just an app, not a.
But you said something about the first Friday of every month.
Yeah, so BandCamp, the first Friday of every month, will be revenue sharing. It'll be giving all 100% of profits straight to the artists, and they get it within the artists get the revenue within 24 or 48 hours, which is a huge deal.
Awesome.
So you can buy music, you can buy merchandise, you can buy tickets. Not like there's any being sold right now, but you can buy all of that on the first Friday of every month, starting last month. So it started in April. It happened this past Friday, May 1st. It'll happen in June and July. Anything you buy, all of the profits go straight directly to the artist. BandCamp keeps none of it.
Do you know, is it just one artist first Friday of every month, or is it multiple, or how does that work?
Every artist on the app.
Oh, okay.
So if you buy something from, let's say, like Chicana Batman, and you buy something from Green Day, don't know why you would, but you did.
If you did.
100% of whatever you bought from Chicana Batman goes to them, and then vice versa with Green Day.
Okay.
So it's an amazing app. I downloaded it to help me find concerts near me. Like for people I listen to on my Spotify. My Spotify is very diverse. I listen to a lot of different music, and I kept getting notifications for different bands.
Yeah, you seem like a complicated man.
I'm a complicated person. My
Not in like a personal sense, but like a music sense. He's got a wide band width.
It's very true,
figuratively and in real life thinking. Awesome. So because BandCamp's doing this, that kind of makes me feel as if everything is a lot more complicated than we make it out to be. And I just think it's incredible that there are places and things like BandCamp making things accessible and easier for these artists that are struggling. Believe it or not, I hate to say it, but even the rich people are struggling right now. And when I say rich people, I mean artists and things like that, because they got to figure out their own stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Speaking on artists, I mean, they're not the only ones suffering, though. The whole music industry is suffering, and that involves venues. That involves, lighting and sound engineers, venue managers, janitorial staff even. You know, those venues aren't open. They don't need to be cleaned. And, venues you could see are starting to suffer, and most notably would be a venue in Austin, Texas called Threadgill's. Mm-hmm. They officially had to close their doors this past month. Yeah,
that's crazy.
They've been open for almost 80 years, and
are they pretty big? That's a pretty big place.
It's not huge in like size, but huge within the music industry. I mean, Janis Joplin got her start there. That's where she started. I don't know who
that is. This is an educational experience for me as well, because I don't know anybody.
Janis Joplin is a very iconic 70s psychedelic rock artist who got her start in the same realm as the Grateful Dead, same type of genre. Led Zeppelin. She played the Monterey Pop Festival, where we went to college in Monterey. The Monterey Fairgrounds. That's where that was held. Jimi Hendrix lit his guitar on fire on stage.
Prove it.
There's pictures.
I have to look those ones up.
Yeah. But they had to close their doors.
Yeah, the only real places I know of, is like Shoreline in Mountain View, and that's not as big as Threadgill by any means. But the Grand Ole Opry, and I think it would be a shame to see something as big as like the Grand Ole Opry, go down because of all this stuff going on. And so that just shows you how many other aspects come into play when you're really talking about, what's going on in the world right now. And I think that's really something to think about. I think that's kind of what we're here for. That's what we wanted to make this podcast for, was to give some real talk to the people, but as well as open everybody's minds to kind of like what's going on besides what you're seeing on the news and what you're seeing on TV, because there are so many behind the scene things going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're trying to keep it the most unbiased views as well. We're just like Kyler said, it's real talk. We're just giving you what we hear, what we know, giving our point of views.
Yeah, to go off of that, Threadgill, it was a venue that was pretty big, and unfortunately it had to go down, and we'd hate to see everything else go down like that.
Yeah, but what about venues that are doing something right, or they're doing something progressive?
Yeah,
what about that?
So one of the venues in Japan, or I shouldn't say venues, I should say hotels, is actually really interesting when I think about this, because hotels in Japan are taking patients with mild coronavirus symptoms and they're putting them in the hotels. That's not what's weird. What's weird? What's weird about it is they have robots in the lobbies telling you where to go and what you need to do and giving out masks and things. Could you imagine a time in your life when robots take over every hotel or every place you go to? You don't see people anymore when you walk in. You see robots. That's crazy to me.
I think they made a movie about that called Terminator.
Yeah, iRobot is another one.
Oh, iRobot. That's the name.
But that robot was a little bit more sentimental.
So you're telling me that these hotels are now employing robots?
Not employing. I mean, they're making them, man. It's a big deal.
Okay. They're not getting paid.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like a lot of Asian cultures are just really intelligent when it comes to things like this. I mean, everybody knows that, like, that whole area is really invested into being better and doing better and things like that.
Technological advancements.
I think it's pretty cool. I definitely think it's pretty cool that they have robots in the lobby, but it's kind of scary in a sense, because what's next?
Exactly. What's next? But at the same time, I mean, that's a really good thing, like now the hotel employees are not at risk, and these people with the mild symptoms are starting to get help in a safe spot where they can't worry about getting infected or anything like that.
So the robot thing is crazy to me. It's just like, it's insane that that's what we're come to now, and that's how it is, and that's what it's going to be. But, speaking of rooms, hotel rooms, for example, my bedroom, I got fish. Not that anybody cares, but now you know.
Bro, you and your fish.
I know. This guy's been hearing me talk about fish for the last week, and it's because the fish, one of them died. And
I'm a very good parent.
I have a dog. I have 5 fish, and to have one of them die, I feel like I lost something. But nonetheless, so when I put this fish in and it died after like an hour of being in the tank, I was like, dude, did I buy saltwater fish and put them in a freshwater aquarium?
I hope not.
Yeah, that would be bad parenting. That would definitely be bad parenting on my part. But I was thinking about this. I was like, what would happen if you did do that? What if you put saltwater fish in a freshwater aquarium? Are you familiar with what would happen, Connor?
All I can imagine is that they would die.
Yeah, they would die. So in Gen Chem, or beginning chemistry classes, you kind of learn the concept of colligative properties. And the colligative properties is the idea that there are solutes in solution. It doesn't matter what they are or how many there are, but they are there in presence. And so I looked this up. When you put saltwater fish in a freshwater aquarium, they swell. And vice versa. If you do the opposite, they shrink. And it's kind of crazy. You get like little craisin fish.
A craisin fish.
Craisin fish.
Oh my gosh.
You'd get like little raisins floating around in your aquarium, and that's kind of crazy to me. But the idea of colligative properties is that you have a lot of molecules in one area and not very molecules in the other. And water flows where water is not. So basically, you'd get water filling the saltwater fish, and it would expand and blow up and die. And vice versa, you would get water flowing out of the freshwater fish, and it would shrivel. which is kind of really, it's really sad
Poor
and
little
interesting.
fish.
But nonetheless, one died, and we're staying strong.
Hey, R.I.P.
I wish I had a memorial.
Well,
talking about that a little bit, we go to the ozone in March. Another news topic that came up is the ozone layer has a hole in it, and the ozone layer hole got bigger and bigger in March.
And that's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Got it.
Very bad. So those that aren't familiar, greenhouse gases and things like that, and CFCs make the hole bigger and bigger. Are you familiar with CFCs?
I am not.
So it stands for chlorofluorocarbon, and what that means is that there's chlorine molecules and fluorine molecules sticking to a carbon, and what happens is CFCs get released into the atmosphere via aerosol cans or refrigerators or cars driving around. UV light strikes these CFCs and it knocks off chlorine particles, and those chlorine particles come in contact with ozone, which is O3, so an oxygen, and oxygen. And when it does that, you get chlorine banging off of the ozone molecules, and then you get O2, and then you get oxygen by itself. Yep, exactly, just like
whoa,
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
And that's bad. So that makes the ozone deplete, and ozone is good because it protects us from UV light and things like that. What I'm getting at is I had this theory when coronavirus started was that because nobody's driving around and things like that, that the ozone would heal itself and be a little bit better. But it was actually the opposite trend. And I now predict that it's because everybody was driving like madmen trying to stock up on toilet paper in March.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was one of those people. I freaked out.
Get out of here.
Hey, man, I'm not saying I'm saving the planet
out of
here.
Town.
I'm saving myself.
Yeah. Is that dog going to eat that corn?
No, she's fine.
Oh, she's good. She's trained. She can sit.
Well,
she can sit.
She's chewing on my line.
So this trend happened, and it just amazes me that we drove around crazy in March to get all these supplies, and it was not good.
March was not a good month for the country. That's when the shelter in place started. That's when the ozone got bigger. And
and now look at us now. We have robots in hotels, people.
Geez, one thing leads to another.
Yep, absolutely. And so the ozone is in the stratosphere. And so to give everybody a little bit of clarity on it, you have two layers, including the stratosphere. And so one is 0 to 10 miles, which is the bottom layer. And then you have 10 to 30 miles, which is the stratosphere. Okay. And that's where most of the ozone layer is.
Got it.
Yeah. And then once you get a little bit further, you get into space.
I love space.
Which brings us our next topic.
What's going on in space?
Yeah, space is crazy right now. Space, it's a time to be alive, people.
It's the last frontier, as they say.
So, Elon Musk with SpaceX and Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, as well as a third company called Dynetics, all partnered with NASA to get a launch to the moon. And that doesn't sound that crazy, right? It was like
we've been to the moon before.
Yeah,
there was a space race and everything.
The guy Buzz Armstrong, or Buzz Lightyear, as you like to call him, if you watch movies.
Wasn't it Buzz Aldrin?
Yeah, that guy.
No. Should you be the science guy?
Yeah, all right. KY, the science guy, not pulling through. Nonetheless, so we got people on the moon before, and now we're going to get people to the moon again, which is
USA,
cool.
Baby.
But this is what's crazy, right? The purpose of this mission, which will happen by 2024, which is very, very cool, because a lot of people I talk to think that, it's in the future. We are in the future, people. This is the future.
Wow.
About a bing, about a boom.
Big energy coming from Tyler right now. Everybody listening at home.
So the idea is to get people to the moon and then people to Mars, which is cool. It's called the Moon to Mars program. It's actually very, very awesome. And the idea and concept is that you'll get people on Mars, and they'll be able to fill in certain space stations, or the space station, International Space Station to be exact.
Ooh.
And then we can then get supplies to Mars. And the capacity for those supplies is actually 100 metric tons.
Oh my, that's a lot of weight.
A bit. Yeah, so we're basically going to start a New York City on Mars. So that's really cool. And to go from Mars, I think there's one topic that we want to finish with here, and that is this UFO sighting.
Do you believe in aliens?
I would be dumb not to believe in aliens. And the only reason is because the Milky Way galaxy as a whole is so incredibly large, and the Milky Way galaxy is a part of a cumulative nature of many other galaxies. So we're
That's
like
a lot of galaxies.
Yeah, we are just a very, 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 very small piece of what we live in, and we really want to try. Well, at least me. I don't know about Connor. He probably doesn't care, but I really want to try and get people to understand that we are so tiny compared to what is in the world. And it's crazy.
Yeah,
but UFOs.
I mean,
did you see the segment?
I saw the segment. The Department of Defense released 3 videos that have already been technically seen before. The first one was released in 2004. Basically, the whole article was the Department of Defense confirmed that these videos are real. They didn't say that it was aliens. They just said, "Yo, these are real videos taken by the military, Navy or Air Force planes."
Yeah, but they followed them. They tracked them with their whole jet thing.
The camera on the jet, whatever that's called. I'm not a military guy. But they basically confirmed that it's real and that they have no idea what they were, calling them unidentified flying objects, UFOs. So
that's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. I saw the video and they were like losing their minds as they saw these things scurrying across the ocean and clouds and everything else. It was actually really, really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I believe there are aliens. I mean, I personally haven't seen one. I would love to see one before I pass away.
What if you saw an alien and it looked just like you? Would you lose your mind?
So there's actually a really good movie about that. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's called Annihilation.
Okay.
It's a movie about an alien thing that lands on Earth. Anyways, long story short, the alien takes the form of the human it's looking at, and so it's like you're looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
And if I saw an alien that looked like me,
crazy.
That's a handsome devil.
That's a galaxy doppelganger.
That is the definition of a doppelganger.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yep. Yep. Italian.
But yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So that was big. If you haven't seen that, that's crazy.
Yeah, check it out. The Department of Defense. I mean, that's huge that they're confirming that. It's huge. It's huge news. And
so be optimistic.
Absolutely.
You never know.
If you don't believe in aliens, then
should now.
I'm sorry for you because that sounds like a really boring. That sounds like a boring train of thought. Think like, we're the only things here. It's like, well, then what's there to look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. But I think now is a perfect time to stop our podcast. Now that we brought that up.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, every other thing that you can find us on. Yeah, because that is we're all over the place.
Check us out on Instagram. Link is in the description of this video.
Yes, it is. ConnorKai.coffee if you just want to hear it.
Yeah, ConnorKai.coffee. Good stuff coming to you next week, episode 3.
Very excited about it.
Every episode is going to be bigger and better.
Bigger and better every time. Stay tuned with us, guys. Pour yourself a cup and listen in. Wednesday, 8 a.m. every Wednesday. It's going to be such a great time, and we want to entertain the people. And again, just to reiterate, thank you guys for watching our first episode. Watch this one. Like, subscribe. Get on with it, baby.
Get on with it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Take it easy, people.
Peace.